Hi, Sammy! Okay, so this is like the first Amba game you've submitted where I have more than like 2 things to say about it. So I paused on your loadout. I know you told me, and I can see here that you went reload speed build, which is fine. You know me, I prefer, instead of like the ultra aggressive builds, I prefer the defensive builds. I would take 20% DR. My 20% DR build has like mini gourds 2, eerie presence 4, like possession, obviously possession 5, and then like swift spirits 2 or 3. So I mean, it's your playstyle, so I'm not gonna harp on that. Because it is a snow globe EV though, like, do you think resilience would have helped? I don't actually know if resilience helps with the slow, but if it helps against like the Inara slow, you would think it helps against the EV ult slow. So that was something else you could have bought, which you didn't, because I think at the end, by the end of the game, you bought Deft Hands 1 on top of reload speed 20%. If resilience actually actually helps with the EV ult, I would have probably bought that instead. Anyways, I'm literally going to start at, I made notes here, 3:14, which is the beginning of the second round, because the entire first round was a huge snowball. You guys went up 2-0. It was like, I don't even think I saw Evie on my screen. I mean, like, I'm specking you, but she was not an issue, and Barrack wasn't flanking you. Like, everything was ho-hum. It was kind of boring. So, starting from here. Let's go.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm going to pause and just make a mention that I like that you first heal Inara, because you don't do this all the time. And I think it's so important when you have a super point tank like Inara, especially one who's just committing to point right away. Just like pre-heal her like right off the bat, especially against a big game Cassie, because having played against so many big game Cassies as a healer, it makes me like paranoid when like you think your tanks are fine and then you blink and then they're like chunked down to like no health. So that was good.
1.
This is all fine and dandy. Okay, small note here. So this is your second heal to someone on the right side. There's a Pip and a Koa. The first time you hit the Pip, I know they're like basically on top of each other, so it's kind of hard to tell who you're hitting. And I know that Pip can heal the Koa, but the second heal, I feel like you wanted to go for the Koa because he was lower. And again, you did heal the Pip the first time. Just like pause for like a millisecond and aim that heal, because Koa's slightly to the right. I think you could have hit him if you just waited a little bit longer. Okay, so this entire play there, up until the point where you slithered, the Xin was with you, right? I know that Barrack's pushing you and Cassie's right there, but Xin is here. Like, yeah, he's not like super like full health, but it's like mostly a 2v1. The Cassie's not looking at you guys. What you do is slither on over here to safety, and I can't say that that was wrong, but do you see the Inara down here? I feel like if you just like, you could have tanked that for like a brief second, gotten like a heal off to the Inara before. Actually, personally, I think you and Xin could have taken on the Barrack. Like, that's just my opinion. Or you could have backed out to like behind these boxes. Like, I feel like holding this corner was fine. And like, again, your Xin was there. If your Xin wasn't there, a totally different story. Like, move the fuck away. But like, Xin is there, you fight Barrack, you can still heal Inara. Because what ends up happening is you slither and then he ults Barrack, but he dies because you're not healing him. Inara dies to Cassie, who you see is right there, big gaming her. You can't get a kill onto anyone. Like, you miss that heal anyways. Okay. So So at this point, Inara just died because she got big game to death. Zin is pretty much dead, but you slither back to try to heal him. I completely disagree with that decision. What you should have done is just stay with your Pip, because when you slither like this, you still don't get line of sight on the Zin. You actually probably had better line of sight if you were like with the Pip over here, or if you went like slightly over to the, like slightly more to the right side. You might have been able to peek Zin through this opening. But he was pretty much dead. I think you could probably see that. Anyways, and then when you slither over, you're by yourself. You're completely isolated. You also have like really shit line of sight on this side platform. So I don't like that. I'm so isolated right now. So like, I know you know to like play with your team as Damba. This is not the only time this game where you just didn't. I mean, this is like cool. You just fucking solo the Eevee. To be fair though, the Pip had to like come all the way over and peel for you. But your team was so good about peeling for you. Like your Zen and your Pip, maybe you don't know it like this early in the game, but they were so good about peeling for you. I guess I can't really like solo the Eevee, but
Get over there and escort the dang payload.
I think that point was lost, again, based on that one play over there in that corner where you were too scared of the barrack, but again, Zen was good.
Special delivery!
Let them get on a ranking. Come on.
You guys hold this for quite a while. You see this Inara? Okay. So you're just like randomly spamming your left click, but you can't see anyone. And I think you should have focused more on hitting your right click. That, like everyone's low. I don't know if you guys could have held that if you just focused on the click.
Enemy
I'll
double
just die.
kill. Enemy triple kill.
If I were you, I would just like, your whole team is dead. I would just slithered into the middle. There's like zero chance of me.
That is you're assaulting me.
It doesn't really matter, but you're trying to dagger yourself. I guess when it's sometimes not as important, especially when they haven't gotten the push very far yet.
Let them get on a rampage. Come on.
That's a good ult. Anxiety. Naruto.
30 seconds remain.
I hate Planet, man. Blank Bear gets so fucking annoying. I like how that color is in here too. But again, your Zin is so good at killing things. So
15
jealous.
seconds remain.
You save your ass here.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Have you started to notice though, like I have, that you just don't heal your Inara? Like you just kind of like forget her. This doesn't
Spawning in 15 seconds.
That's actually the main thing I noticed
5,
in this game,
4,
that you just don't heal
3,
your Inara.
2, 1.
I'm like,
Alright, this is just weird for me, like team positioning, because on their team they have Barrack over here, and on your team you have all your squishies here. Your tank is on, your point tank is on point, and then Koa is like off in the middle of nowhere, gallivanting around. I don't know. Like, I don't know what you could have done here, because like you're not gonna hold against Barrack Grover with all your squishies. You needed a tank here. Like Koa should have pushed here. Come on. Wait. I made a note about something. Okay. There. I'll let it run a little bit longer. You heal Koa. That's okay. I'll forgive that heal. It's not that healing Koa is bad, but because you did gore the Inara, but think about it. Okay, so Eevee flies over. Your entire attention just like completely shifts to Eevee. But I think you should have just stayed for an extra 2 seconds, or like not stayed, but like focus your attention for another 2 seconds and heal the Inara, because she's trying to make it onto point. Like that gourd was good, but like it only did so much because she's walking forward off of her. Like you spending so long looking at that Eevee, I don't know if it did you any favors, because Inara again just dies. You healing Koa there, again, not super impactful. I would have just, oh, you just used your Slither. Okay, well, I would have just ignored him, to be honest, and just healed Inara. By the time you heal her, it's way too late. There's like a smidgen of a chance if you ulted that, she, like, just ulted point, she wouldn't have taken damage, but actually I take that back, because Cassie was probably shooting her too. Like, she was just too dead by the time you looked at her. There's no way I don't really understand why you came down. I don't think anyone was really pushing you. Your Pip was right next to you too. There's nothing wrong with being next to Pip, and you could have healed Koa, but like the time it took for you to like walk down here again for I don't know why, like you could have just pocketed the shit out of Koa and or just ulted something. Like I understand that ult, but both, I don't know, I guess not both picks, but like
Enemy killing spree. Enemy double kill.
Wait, I wanna back up. Hold on one sec. 36. Go a little bit. This is just a round play. What is that Slither? Were you just trying to get behind Ash's shield to kill her? Like, I think that's what you're trying to do. But like, even if that was your intent, like, I don't know. Lag. Okay, you see the Zen, right? He's billowed. He's like 1 HP. Just fucking right-click him. Right-click and then slither away to your heart's content if you really want to. I still think it was like a pretty good Especially, I mean, like, you almost got caught in that.
Enemy killing spree.
Here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, first win. You almost got caught in that easy ult, and it was really left you dead. I actually think, in general, you played point a little bit too much. Like, you should have backed out sooner a couple of times. That was clutch Pip. Yeah, there. So, Pip had just healed these two guys. Your Nar desperately needed a heal. Like, desperately. It'd been a while since you'd healed her. The fact that you didn't pocket her here, that was like one of the reasons you guys lost this point. So it's okay. I feel like this play is good. It might sound a little bit mean, but it's really not meant to be. So like this play was a little bit like, remember that Splitstone game we played where we almost won, but then Khan at the 3-3, like fucking bones, right? He comes in as Khan. He like comes in on that side, on the whatever, meat grinder side, fidget spinner side, and it's like you knew and I knew what he was going for. He was looking for an ult, but the Grover just couldn't understand, even though you shielded. It was like everyone knew exactly what was gonna happen, and yet it still happened. So this was one of those moments where I'm like, okay, it's Snow Globe Eevee, you're on point, she's coming at you like really hard, get the fuck off of point. So I know you're trying to save Inara, but I think that was mostly... See, back here, just if you... What I would have done is, at this moment, like, shift your focus to the Inara, heal her, like, slide off point, like, just spam VAG, like, cap the objective, right? Like, Inara should be backing up onto point, because they're collapsing onto you guys, and you should just be, like, behind at some, like, somewhere.
You can die when I drop me.
But at this point, like, you die with this. You die well. I mean, that was a great kill, but too late. Alright.
Defend.
I guess you guys as a team did back up hard enough. I didn't even feel that true though. I just feel like you should have pocketed the Nara a bit harder and then you backed off. That's just my opinion. Okay. I don't have any notes for like 11 minutes. This game I also noticed that okay, you didn't have like godly right click that you usually do, which is like so weird. So I'm gonna talk to you about your aim, which I find like completely preposterous. Because all of this is just like wherever you guys are happening. I mean, Suzu's on your ass, what can you do? At least your team is helping you. Anyways, so because I've played like so many hours of Damba, I don't feel like so ridiculous about Damba aim. The thing is, sometimes when you're not like super like in the zone, what'll happen is you left click. I just noticed the game sounds are so loud. Did you even hear a thing I said this whole time? I don't know. Anyways, you left click. If you go left click, you get into like that rhythm, right? Like la 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 la. And then when you right click, you try to, I'll turn up a little bit because you can't even hear it. Your right click is on like the syncopation. I don't know if you know music either. Like I think most people know what syncopation is. So you go like left, right. You know, like it's on the offbeat. It's actually harder, I find, to aim that offbeat heal than if you just go left, aim right. You know, like left, right. That's actually much easier of a rhythm to aim your right clicks than what you tried doing a lot of this game. And I feel like most of your misses were on the, like that one, that heal. Yeah, we're having music class here. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Next point, but.
Spend these credits.
I mean, obviously, you know, I think you deal with flanks really well in general. So that whole sequence of me not talking about gameplay was just you dealing with flanks. Okay, so this point was already much better because your Koa is with you guys here, not like off gallivanting by himself over there. Do I have any notes for this? Oh yeah, I do. I remember what happened. Okay, so far so good. All right. I'll just let this play. All right, so okay, right before you ult, you guys were already, by you guys I mean like the three of your teammates here, were already pushing into them pretty hard, and they were doing a pretty good job already of pushing them back. I actually didn't think this ult was necessary at all. Now, let's talk about the fact that you have 38 health. This is even weirder for you to ult on 38 health. Not that every ult on 38 health is bad, but you know what I mean. Like, this is really risky. On top of all of that, you start pressing W into them on 38 health, especially, like, you knew Barrack was here, and you knew Barrack had Resi too. There's no way you live through this. Zero chance. So you die right after this. So what I would have done, I'm gonna back up to the beginning. Alright, you see how you don't heal Inara? I remember at the very first point, the very first heal I gave out of the game was to Inara, and I said, I pointed out, yes, do that more. That's great. Like, maybe you didn't even notice it, but that's like Awesome, amazing. You have to do that. So that was the only time you gave Inara the first heal of the round. Pip is with these three. Like, they're fine, honestly. Like, it's fine for you to have healed them, but yeah, you should have turned to Inara and or like pre-healed her. At least pre-healed her. And here, okay, you're a little, like, you're 38 health. I would have just, like, backed, like, either stood still, backed up, turned right. Your Inara here has already taken a bunch of poke, probably just from Cassie. I would have just healed her instead. So, blah, blah, blah. You ult, you press W, you die. Alright. Like, maybe you expected Pip to chicken that before, but again, he has Resi too. I don't know. You're using a bunch of CC on someone who's fairly CC immune. Alright. This is good. Okay. Minor note again. As Inara is on her horse going past you, just pre-heal her. Like, she's gonna go to zone. Like, Fish Market, you have, like, shit sightlines when you're on point. Maybe every map, I don't remember. But, like, like, in general, every map when someone's zoning, if you're on point, you just can't really see them. So, like, it's fine to pre-heal someone on their horse, especially because you have, like, no one else to heal right now. You could have totally hit that. Okay. All fine. All fine. Alright. You see Eevee ult the Inara, and then you don't even look at it, and then you go and heal Koa. I don't like the heal on Koa. I just, like, Inara is, like, stuck in a place right now. Like, she can't move, and she's already much lower than the Koa, so, like, I would have shifted my priorities to the Inara and pocketed her through that. Another thing, because you and I talk a lot, obviously, right? So, like, I know what you think about a lot of this stuff. You don't necessarily like right-clicking and gourding the same person. But that's, like, an ultra pocket, right? Especially against big game Cassie. But, like, an Eevee ult deserves that kind of attention, too. Like, you can save someone's ass, especially Inara's ass, if you just right-gourd pocket. Like, focus the shit out of healing her. Your Koa really didn't need it more, and I feel like that play or that lack of healing Inara, like, you lose Inara, I feel like that lost you guys the point. I could be wrong, maybe that wasn't, but that contributed for sure. Like, that was a great kill on Cassie, but Inara dies. Again, like, you notice that rhythm? It felt like it was on the syncopation instead of on the, it was like on the offbeat instead of on the on-beat, and it's just harder to hit those. I don't know. Like, you miss a ton of heals there. So on Sammer Cam, like, dude. At this point, it's just honestly too late. Great stun, but it's too late. Even if he hadn't died, I don't think you could have pocketed the Inara through, like, 4 people looking at her and lose that point. Like, that's it. Nice hook. I guess it wasn't that hard, but you, Inara! Okay, so in general this game, you use a lot of your ults on tanks. And at this point, even Ashe has Resi too. I mean, I feel like that's more because of the Pip, but you also, because you're just ulting her a lot. Maybe not even, I don't know. But you're ulting Barrack a ton, and he had Resi too from, like, so early on. None of their squishies have resi at all. And especially Eevee. Like, I know she wasn't, like, a huge problem, but you could have just, like, free ulted her almost. And then, yeah, free value. Yeah, you're ulting the tanks, you just didn't get that much out of it. So either, like, try to ult their backline if they're attacking your tanks. Especially Cassie, because it's a fucking big game. And, like, she big games your tank, you just ult her and then waste, like, 3 or 4 seconds off of that. I don't know how long damber ult is. It feels like 3 seconds. Nice, done. That Cassie got fucked by you so hard this game. I don't think she pushed you, like, ever. See, that's like the syncopation thing again. You're like left, 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 right. I hope you know what I'm talking about, or else I'm gonna sound like, or seem like an idiot. I don't know. You could have pushed in, like dashed in faster, and that pip saved your Inara's ass. Nope. Okay, so I think that was just a miss, but you healed the full health Inara instead of the Koa. Sometimes I just miss like that too, so I hope that was just a miss. But big game Cassie, like, yeah, it's like your tanks are full and then your tanks are not full. This is why I'm so stressed out when I play against big game Cassie. Heal Inara, heal Inara. Okay, so there you heal Koa. I don't know if it's a miss. I think your pip tops her off. Nah, okay, there would have healed Koa, but healed Inara. I don't know, man. Heal Koa, heal Koa. Okay, you heal Koa. I think. There was another, okay. Like, all your misses so far in that little sequence, that mini sequence, is just, you're just so used to your left click rhythm that you're not aimed completely on.
Capture point spawning in 15 seconds.
Okay, I'll let this play out first. Okay, that whole thing. I have like 2 points to make on that. Let's go back. It's fine that you're here. It's even fine. I like that on the Xin, but again, be aware that your Inara is on point and she's already half because Cassie, and you didn't pre-heal her. So again, I like the right click gourd on Xin, probably okay. At this point, you have to look at Inara. Like, you have to. But you give another heal out to like Xin or somebody over here who didn't even need it while your Inara is like dying on point. So look at Inara, please. By the time you look at her, it's honestly a bit late. Okay, so here. Okay, so here the Ashe is ulting. And your Inara is like, I don't know exactly how much health this is, but it's not that much more than 1,000. Maybe like 1,500 maximum. And the Ashe is like so high up in the air. You know that you can just, I mean, it doesn't get rid of it, but it'll cancel the Ashe ult and force her to re-ult, which just wastes a lot of time. And during which time you can actually heal your Inara back to full. Especially because, you know, Eevee's about to die right now. But, like, right now you see Cassie, Grover, like, just shooting your tanks. They really need distraction. Either, like, ult somewhere here on point, or try to ult them to just take some pressure off your tanks on point. Yeah, that just kills her. You're just fucked. Okay, I also didn't understand when you just walk over here. I understand Pip is here, but he's already, like, leaving and they're not pushing in, but you like start walking this way and you try to like solo the bear Cassie. I don't really understand. I think you should just go with your Pip. Like, your Pip is like, he backed out all the way over here. Like, you need to just be, like, they're gonna wrap you for sure, because there's your Pip left. You try to push into them, but ultimately you had to leave because you're not gonna win that 1v2, especially as support. So I would have just, like, backed out towards your Pip much sooner. Y'all so fucked here. Like, now you have to just back out of existence. I mean, I actually think the fact that you guys won this point is so lucky. And it was basically because your Zen and your Pip got, okay, and you. So, like, all three of you got, like, you picked off their 2 DPS, which was huge. And I guess Grover died at some point recently. Okay, I don't understand why exactly you're on point. Like, your whole team is on point. It's kind of strange, but it's fine, whatever. Like, just during the fight, I don't understand. Like, I know that you want to sit on point while other people goes down. This whole sequence it was fine, I guess. It just made me a bit nervous because for long periods of time, you'd be looking over here. I understand there's shit happening over here, but it's going to be like a 2v1 or 3v1 situation. Like, your team should be fine, and the fact that you can't see them. But, like, I'd be so nervous of the people, like, about the people respawning and coming back. Like, what if someone just, like, Evie just, like, flies in, or, like, Cassie rolls in? I don't fucking know. Like, Ash dashes in, and you're on point, and you have no idea because you're, like, looking this way for, like, long periods of time. So I would have just been, like, looking here mostly and just, like, kind of quick peeking, like, just, what do you call it, like, flicking your mouse, like, quickly over to this side once in a while to see if there's anything interesting. Again, so starting from here, when you can actually start seeing their team, I would start thinking, like, really hard about dashing off of point, especially because both your tanks are roughly within your line of sight, so you can probably, yeah, Anara's, like, on point now. Nice wall. Alright. So, yeah. The main points, I actually think you could have done better on your heal prioritization this game. Like, in general, you distributed heals, like, really well. But if you look back on it, Inara was almost always the first to die in a team fight, and that should not happen. Like, you just weren't healing her. She got some clutch heals from Pip, and Pip in general was very clutch in his healing. Yeah, so, like, pre-heal the Inara before she gets the point that's, like, always, there's nothing, you can never go wrong doing that. Unless there's, like, a crazy reason you can't do it, but I feel like the first heal everyone should always go to the Nara on point. And if not the first heal, then you should at least be, like, looking at her much more, because most of your attention during early point fights was just not on Nara. By the time you shifted back to her, she's pretty much dead. It just didn't matter. Also, right click Gording together, again, I said this, but, like, against big game Cassie, great. Against, like, any kind of, like, ult, like, anytime you need to, like, super pocket someone, like, just right click Gord, right click. Just, like, dump heals at them. It's never wrong, dude. Yeah, and then, like, your aim. Your right click aim. Your left click aim is great. Your stunning was great, but your right click aim, I've been there. I have games like that. I have days like that. So I'm just trying to tell you, I'm not saying you're bad at aiming, because, again, it's crazy for me to talk about aim with you, but because I play Dampa so much, so, like, I feel like it's the same issue. It's just, like, a rhythm thing, like, subconsciously or consciously, probably subconsciously for you, you're just, like, not noticing that. Alright, this was a fun game to look at. Thanks, Sam.